Hello Campo, it's Luca here. I thought I'd make a session plan which was quite visual for you and very straightforward. I can't be with you tomorrow, but I can replicate this Tuesday. But I think from the observations the other night, what we really need to work on with the players is competency on their technical ability, their game understanding, their game awareness, and helping them improve over the course of the season. So even though we've got a game Sunday and it's going to be a competitive edge as every sports match is, I think what we really need to look for as the objectives is technical development this year, and then looking at that tactical pillar within that. Then obviously that psychological and then physical is going to come over the course of the season. So this session is going to consider all four of those pillars. Now when you set this session up, what I would like is 2 goals, one at either end, ready for your session. You're not going to use them until the small sided game at the end, but this is what I want for every session now, is a pitch set up like this. If we got dome cones instead of slalom poles, that would be completely fine in the corner, but if we got some poles as well, it just lays out the pitch, 2 goals either end, and we got that progression with saving time right throughout that session for when we're ready to progress. And it also replicates the realism of a match day environment, so players are able to come into training and they know this looks very similar to a game and it's all set up. Now I want some footballs on the side that are not flat. I want them pumped up and ready to go. Now here, all you can see is all I've done is set up gates within the main pitch. Okay, so we got blue and red cones. That's the only colours we're going for so far. Over the next few weeks we can add some in, but we don't add too many because we don't want too much equipment on the pitch. Now you can see I've set up 6 players here, so we might have 6, same as the other night. And another thing I'd like you to do is bib them up as soon as they attend the session. So get them into colours, so here I've used pink and blue. Alright, so we got 2 teams already set up to go. So we got the pitch ready and we got the players ready. So we're saving that time already rather than bibbing them up at the end. Now, when they arrive to the session, I'd like them passing 1-2, very short spaces, 2 free touch, and just getting that technical ability developed, getting that passing, getting that communication in, getting them to know each other, and really improving. And we can utilise the pitch here. So before you set up the cones, or even behind the goals there, you can just have them doing 1-2 passing, then say, right, boys, in we come, have a little discussion, introduce what the session's going to be, get them running round. Now you can create a demonstration here, it's quite free flowing, and what you want them to do is just dribble around the pitch, going in and out the different gates, the reds, the blues. Now over the next coming weeks, as I said, you could add in other colours and then we go from there. So just give them a minute or two, just get in there, free flow, getting their touches up, getting the feel of the ball. Now, what's our progression within this? Well, there's a challenge. How many gates can you go through within a minute? And then you can get them all in and then maybe get their numbers off them. Just give them that little bit of breather in between, remembering they're under 11s. And then once they've got that number, so if little Joey gives you number 6, then next time say, all right, I want 10 gates within 1 minute now. And that's what the next progression is going to be. How do you progress on from there? Well, you can progress on by calling the actual colours. So they're just dribbling around. You say red, and they got to dribble through red as quick as possible. Only one player can go through the cones at one time. They can't both go through simultaneously at the opposite sides. Now, what you can also see is that each player has their own ball. And if one goes out of play, there's one ready on the side where the footballs are, and you're going to knock one straight into them if they lose their ball. But it's just a recap, it's those 2 different coloured gates laid out right across the pitch. 2 teams already bibbed up with a football each. Just naturally dribbling around, give them a minute, and then give them another minute, then set them a challenge, and then give them another challenge. So by the time you do that minute, and say 30 seconds in between, then already you've looked at 6 minutes within that. Now you've got that 6 minutes, players are progressing. Now, what other element can we add in? Actually, now when you're dribbling round, and I'm going to call out toe taps, and then they got to do 10 toe taps back to dribbling. This time you're left foot only, and they're only left foot dribbling. This time right foot only. This time I want to do some heel flicks. This time I want some tic tacs. So by the time you do that from 6:05 to 6:20, it will absolutely fly by. Players have got in hundreds of touches. They're flowing well. They're playing some good football by getting that technical ability in. They're enjoying their time on the ball. And they're getting what they want out of the session as under 11s, while we utilise their technical ability. Now here we're going to transition into the technical side. So once you finish that activity, you say, right, pick up all the cones and now go get yourselves a quick drink. And then once they've done that, all you can do is set up 1, 2, 3, 4 cones. That's all you need to do, and that's how quickly the equipment comes in. You get that little transition in, and you've got the pitch ready. Now here I've highlighted it in yellow just to show that we're condensing the pitch down within the layout area that we've already established. Now here I've got 8 players because you might have 1 or 2 arrive. So what I'm going to do is just have them put on another colour bib. So literally you've got 3 lots of bibs next to your footballs ready to go. Blue, pink and orange. Now I put a player either side, and there's going to be 2 teams within this. So we're introducing the competitive edge, we're introducing teamwork, technical control, passing ability, a little bit of dribbling. So we're transitioning from the warm-up into a technical side. We're already then setting up a pre-transition for the SSG, and therefore we haven't had to move loads of equipment. We're up and going, the players are bibbed, and it allows us to just flow naturally right throughout the session. Now when you start a session, you're just going to say this week's theme is we're going to look at control of the ball and teamwork, and that's what your objective is going to be on Sunday for the game. Just set them basic objectives with a theme so you can build upon it and then recap when you go into the session next week. Now here, the 2 players are on the outside, so obviously you can see there's going to be an overload and there's going to be an underload, okay? So the pink team obviously has possession at this point. Now they can have the 2 players on the outside and they keep possession within this. So the blues obviously want to recover the possession, and then when they get the ball they can use the orange players and keep that possession base going. Now there's loads of coaching points within this. Is obviously, can pinks go and receive the ball? Where can they be on the pitch? How are they receiving? How are they working as a team? What positions can they drop into? Can one drop into the space in the middle, for example? Can one player come out wide? So it gives plenty of opportunities for interventions, gives plenty of opportunity for observations within this, and there's loads of coaching points you can give the under 11s. But don't forget the hour under 11s. You don't want to give them too much information. Just give them some that they can recap and build on. And then as we do this repetition over the next few weeks, then we can add in the next layer of coaching points. So remember, they're very, very new, and we want to just focus on that little theme of technical ability and teamwork ready for Sunday, and building upon that when we come into training next week. Now, obviously we've got the orange players, so 20 minutes I've given this. So by the time you look at both teams and give some coaching points within this, you want it to be a good level of intensity for that 20-minute period. Now we can work in blocks as well, so we might work into 2 9-minute blocks. We've got a minute either side of that for drinks then, considering they're under 11s, and again how hot it is in the country right now, and we're looking at currently 25 degrees at the moment. But here we can just look at progression then. So how can we get the 2 orange players into the middle? Can they go and join and create that overload and underload situation? And therefore we can start layering a little bit more of the information. Can we regress it then, or actually can blue team go on the outside, and then can we have pinks versus orange, for example? So then we got a 3 versus 2 in the middle, then we got, you know, a 5 versus 3 situation formulating again when that happens, if you want to do that. So it gives you opportunity of transition and a bit of regression, but again it gives them that opportunity of dribbling with the ball, passing, moving. How can they look to receive? How can they work as a team? So they're all the elements that we really want to get across on Sunday. So working as a team, that communication, dribbling with the ball, and movement on and off the ball, and maybe your 5 objectives that you could set for Sunday. Now 5 is quite a lot, but if you can look to see, right, oh, I'm going to rag those 5 objectives on Sunday. So obviously red for not so good, amber there's improvements, and green that worked really well. Then when you come to those 5 objectives next week on Tuesday, we can really address it in the session again. Okay, so now we're into the SSG again. See, all we need to do is pick up the 4 cones, and then we've got that nice little area which we can work within. We've transitioned already, we've saved the time, we saved the equipment, the goals are already laid out, the pitch is laid out, okay? Now what you could do, again, dome cones, you could have 1 across either side of the middle, just to lay out sort of the pitch a little bit more. You could show them where the halfway line is. So if you wanted to introduce some retreat back rules, or where they need to step up to, it gives them a little bit of visual guidance. Now here I've set up obviously 5 versus 5, so again there's another 2 players which have sort of appeared here, but I've just set this up just to give some basic concepts. Now you can see 1 goalkeeper is in green because also we had a keeper turn up to the session the other day, and the other team doesn't perhaps have a goalkeeper, so they've got a player at the back who is able to play out with his feet, able to look at potentially dribbling from the goal and getting that into play. Now you can condition that goalkeeper individually however you want. Now obviously there's going to be regressions, there's going to be progressions, there's going to be limitations on perhaps that goalkeeper. Perhaps he is allowed to use his hands and he has to replicate what a goalkeeper would look like for that sort of interaction within training when you're lacking that second keeper, etc. But this is just your SSG now. So what is your objective? Passing and moving. Can they take players on now in a competitive environment, 1v1s, 2v1s? Can they dribble at a player? Can they beat a player? How many shots can they look to get off? And it is very, very basic, but don't forget that they're very new as a group. They're only under 11s and there's some objectives that we want to capture. So I didn't want to overlay this with too much information. And I really didn't want to put too much in there, because that's all you need to go in with. Right, these are my couple of coaching points for the warm-up. This is what my next couple of coaching points are going to be for the technical, and these are going to be the coaching points for the SSG. Has it transitioned from the warm-up right down to the SSG? Yes, it has. Is all the equipment on the side and able to be packed up at the end very quickly? Yes, it is. So at the end, when you finish up, again, boys, can you get the poles in? 4 poles comes in. Boys, can you get the goals in? Bang, all you got to do is whip the goals down within 10 minutes. You're packed up, you're ready to go. So it just gives you that little transition time as well. But it'd be nice to have a little cool down with the boys at the end, get them into a little circle, just start shaking them off a little bit, just getting them cooling down, doing that static stretching and just getting them slightly aware of what their situation is. That cooling down is really important. Now when it comes to a warm-up, I wouldn't do your line running as such. So far I would just get them doing dynamics, whereby just 1-2 passing, just getting used to the ball, getting moving, and then you're really going to warm them up in that warm-up sort of period by that dribbling around with the ball naturally, so they have a bit of fun, they have a bit of enjoyment, and you're getting that warm-up within that, but you're using it for a technical development piece whilst then looking at what the real core of the session is as you're able to progress it throughout. Now I've put timings in there. I'd like to be really strict with timings in terms of what we're looking at. So obviously there's 15 minutes for a small-sided game at the end. It's only an hour, so it's absolutely going to fly by. That's with very limited drink breaks as well. And that's making sure we're very quick, we're very clear on that transitions, we're quick to get players back in. Now where the footballs are on side, I'd have the players' drinks bottles next to it. Not too close to the pitch, obviously, for health and safety reasons, but just right. Boys, quick drink, bang, they get the drink on the side, they're straight back into play. You command when they have those drinks, you command how that session goes, and you be strict to those timings as well. Don't forget, crouch down, talk to the players, introduce it at the end. I'd always do an arrival, little talk to them, about a minute, minute and a half, and then same at the end then, just to recap some of the coaching points and say goodbye to them. Now, one of the standards I want to set the players is absolutely fist bumps as soon as they arrive into the session. Make sure they're approaching you with the fist bumps. You're nice and organised. The pitch looks set up, that we're focused on what the coaching is at that point, and it's a contact hour with the players for that hour. I hope this helps in some way. Again, if you've got any questions, please just text me back. I'm always open to helping you, but I wanted to try and give you a little visualization as well as give you a little bit of auditory, just how we can support the players, but also by listening and watching this, that they can take that away, or you can take that away into helping your players as well. Now you can obviously follow the podcast on my YouTube channel, and there's going to be plenty of resources there as well to help you. There's lots of coaching sessions, so there's plenty of series, so you can flick through and find that as well. And over the next few weeks I'll start getting some real detailed plans out to you, but we can replicate this again on Tuesday when I'm there to support you with that, and then we can be really clear of what that progression is from when you delivered it on Friday towards what I can do on Tuesday, and then see what your observations are in terms of those little improvements we can make collectively, both for the team and from a coaching point of view. But again, any questions, let me know. Hope this finds you well.